Good to see you all again. My daughter's here tonight, Pippa. She came back from Malaga at the tail end of the summer holidays, and she said she had a good day in Malaga. I said, "Pippa, what did you do in Malaga?" She said, "Oh, God, well, she did a lot of things. She went to the Picasso Museum, saw a whole bunch of different things. She said, you know what the best thing was, Dad? By far, the best thing. Went into the stationery shop." I said, "What do you mean, what's the big deal about that? You go to a stationery shop." She said, "Have you ever even been in a stationery shop?" And I told her, as far as I was concerned, every shop that I'd ever been in had been stationery. But what is it? What is this thing that girls have about stationery? It's like a kind of it's a madness. It's a madness. They go absolutely nuts about stuff. I mean, I know, because I teach year 7 and I've seen all the pencil cases. They're just going to lose it. Girls just lose it if there's stationery anywhere around. And Pippa came back from school a couple of weeks ago. She was delirious. She was shaking. Didn't know what the hell was wrong with her. So we threw an ice bucket all over her head and we slapped her around for about 20 minutes and said, "What the hell is wrong with you, child? Put yourself together. What is it?" Apparently she'd been handling a whole load of plastic sleeves that you could put A4 sheets into. She said, "These things, Jesus, they're fantastic. Because they've got all these perforations on the margin, and it means that you can take the same plastic sleeve and you can put it into a sort of lever arch file, you can put it into another folder. It's crazy." But the girls go absolutely nuts. And the thing is, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, we don't really talk about it in society. It's the kind of thing that we just sort of sweep underneath the carpet, pretend it's not a problem, but it is. Because girls, they just can't deal with it. They can't handle this stationery. The stationery is a drug to them. And I've been worried about this for a long time, and I thought, where the hell does this come from? And I did a little bit of looking around, and I found out where it comes from. I know the source of this evil, and that's the English department of the EIC. You know, it's that Avery woman. I thought she might be here tonight, but she's not. But it's, you know, we all love Mrs. Avery, don't we? We think she's terrific. She's the head of English. She's a terrific teacher and all of that. But I'll tell you something. Don't buy any of that stuff. The truth is, and she doesn't want you to know this, but she leads a double life. Because what she is really is a stationery pusher. I was very worried about this. I spoke to David. I said, "David, can we get some surveillance cameras installed in her classroom, EN1? And so we did. And my suspicions were confirmed. Tuesday, period 2, English language, 6 girls. They come in. Chloe Quinlan, she says, "Hey miss, my blue pen is running out. Have you got something for me?" And as soon as she mentioned that, Mrs. Avery, her expression just changed. She said, "What? All right, girls. Who's the last one in here? Right, Calypso, you're the last in here. Just check there's nobody following." See, all the girls, they gathered around the stationery cupboard. They were all there, Mrs. Avery was saying, slowly she opened up that door to the station, sliding door, slides open the door to the stationery cupboard. She looks at the girls, she said, "Hey girls, I got some real good shit in here." I mean, even the office, they don't know that I got half this stuff. I mean, look at this, we got these colored dividers. You can use these dividers, you can divide your work up into different sections. You can have poetry, you can have prose, you can have marked essays, you can have them all separate, and you can even subdivide your work, and you can color code everything. And the girl said, "Ooh." And one of the girls reached up because she wanted to touch one of these colored dividers, and then Mrs. Avery just took her hand and she threw it away, and she said, "Get your hands off this loot, you crazy bitch!" You know, I never thought that Mrs. Avery would speak to a student that way. But what you got to bear in mind is, what you got to think about is, for many years, she's been working in close proximity to a stationery cupboard. and nobody could control themselves. You might think that Mrs. Avery is bad, but you should see Paola in the office. I mean, Paola in the office does all of the requisitions for stationery and textbooks and everything like that. Does that in June. And she changes. All of the other women in the office, they get so frightened that they make her wear a muzzle because they're afraid that she's going to bite somebody. It's true, this. She looks like Hannibal Lecter in a skirt. And one time it got really bad because all of the departments in the school were all making requisitions at the same time. They all wanted exercise books, maths, modern languages, English, sciences, art. Everybody wanted exercise books at the same time, but they all wanted something different, different color, different number of pages, different line spacing. Some wanted single margins, some wanted double margins. Maths wanted squares, art wanted plain paper. She was on an online stationery catalogue for 87 hours. In the end, she became so mentally unstable they had to lock her in a cage. A couple of times a day, Victoria would come along and she'd get a bit of raw meat and just chuck it in her. We were really worried, me and David. We reviewed this footage that we'd recorded in EN1, Mrs. Avery, because after she'd showed the kids the colour dividers, they started looking at different colour highlighters. There's a lot of different colours in there. There was green, and there was yellow, and there was orange, and there was pink, and there was a box up at the top. And people hadn't seen that one before. And one of the kids said, "But what's in that box, miss?" And Mrs. Avery said, "They're the purple highlighters." Chloe Quinlan said, "I want one of those, miss." Mrs. Avery said, "Forget it, kid. You couldn't handle the purple ones." Purple highlighters are for things where you know there's going to be very little that you've got to highlight. It should be used very sparingly. This is dangerous stuff. You could use it if you wanted to highlight the intelligent parts of a political speech by Donald Trump. You could use the purple if you wanted to highlight the genuinely entertaining parts of A Midsummer Night's Dream. But you don't mess with the purple. One of the girls in year 11 didn't take my advice on this. She said, "Miss, can I have a purple highlighter?" And I was dumb enough to give her one, and then she went and highlighted a whole soliloquy in Hamlet. She broke into a fever, and then they carted her off to the Costa del Sol hospital. She was there for a week. But she didn't talk. Because I'm telling you girls, whatever happens, it doesn't get traced back to me. Your parents, you don't go blabbing to them. The cops, you don't go blabbing to the cops either. Nothing comes back to me. Because you know what happens if anybody blabs, anybody squeals on me? I'm gonna bloody staple their goddamn lips together with one of my new staplers. When she said that, I thought all of the girls would be frightened, but they weren't. They just said, "What, you've got new staplers, miss?" I said, yeah, we got terrific new staplers. They got a special patented system that means that the staples don't all jam in the mechanism, and they're absolutely fantastic. You know, when I'd seen this stuff, I thought, I've seen enough. This is getting out of hand. Avery's ruining the lives of these kids. She's polluting their minds. She's corrupting them. Girls can't handle this kind of stress. And I thought, you know what? I got to do something about this. Griffin's going to have to hear about this. So I went along to Mr. Griffin's office. And I was really nervous. I mean, I'm always nervous when I go there, but I was really nervous this time in particular, because I knew that I was dumping Mrs. Avery in it, but somebody had to speak. So I was pacing up and down outside. Mr. Griffin saw me, and he said, "Hogan, is that you outside?" I said, "Yes, Your Holiness. I was wondering if I could have a word." He said, "Come on in. Please bear with me. I've got about a minute or two. I'll just finish off an email. As soon as I finish the email, I'll attend to whatever it is that you want to speak. I said, thank you, Your Grace. And I walk inside the office. I don't know if you've been in there. I hate going into that office. I hate that office. Because us teachers, we get sent there by Mrs. Stevenson. You know, if we've been incompetent or insubordinate or unprofessional, Mrs. Stevenson, she sends us in there. So I'm in there most days. So I know it well. You walk inside and there's all of those pictures up on the wall. All of those pictures of all the kids who went off to Oxbridge, all the smart ones. They're on the wall looking down. And they got those eyes that follow you. They're looking at you. They're like those portraits in Harry Potter where everybody can look around and they can talk to each other. And they're all looking down, which makes it all the more difficult to explain to Mrs. Griffin that the reason that you've been sent there is because you pushed some kid over in the dinner queue. Mrs. Stevens had discovered you hadn't marked a year 7 homework for the last 10 years. But I went in that time, and I sort of think about those Oxbridge people as being kind of like saints. They're kind of like the saints in stained glass windows in Mr. Griffin's cathedral to learn. And they're sort of looking down in that sort of condescending way. So I sat down in the seat. Mr. Griffin was just finishing off his email, and I was just kind of looking around. I was taking in the things that were there. You know, there's a great big framed picture of Mr. Griffin's wife on his desk. I thought, I saw that, I thought, I like that, you know. It says a lot about him, you know, family man. Then about a year ago, he took it out and replaced it by pictures of the Copus debating team. And there were other things on the desk too. There was a stapler. There was one of those little containers, you know, you put paper clips in them and it has a magnetic rim around the top so the paper clips don't fall out. It's a really nice touch. I like that a lot. And then a little further, and there was a mug in there, and the mug had the usual bits and pieces. There were some pens, pencils, that kind of stuff. And I noticed there were some highlighters in the mug too. And I looked at them. There was a yellow one, and a green one, and a pink one. And then I noticed there was a purple one. And I thought, oh shit, Avery's got to him. And then I thought about it a bit more, and I thought, how about if Mr. Griffin is involved in this, you know the kind of guy he is. He's going to be the head honcho, he's going to be the big man. So if he's involved big time. And then I asked myself, well, is Mr. Griffin really the kind of person who would be knowingly engaged in some kind of activity that he knew was going to be deleterious to the future of young people? He knew the kind of thing that would corrupt their minds, ruin their futures, perhaps even potentially destroy their lives. Is that the kind of man Mr. Griffin is? Well, the answer is obviously yes. He's been the director of the school for the last 20 years. Then I thought about Mr. Griffin. He's bound to be involved in this. I mean, I could see Mr. Griffin being sort of to colour highlighters the way Pablo Escobar was to cocaine. And that's the way it's going to be. And I could almost see a headline. I could see this headline, and the headline was sort of Ronald Griffin, Godfather of Stationery. And when I thought that, I suddenly became afraid, because I thought, Jesus Christ, what's going to happen to me? I could wake up in the morning and there's a fucking horse's head in my bed. And my wife, she'd be in there too. You just imagine it. She's there, she's rolling around in the morning, she says, God, come on, what is it with you? Why can't you stay on your own side of the bed? You're forever pushing into me. Give us a bit of space. And then I'd say something like, well, how come you blame me for everything? Did it not even occur to you that the reason that you don't have any wiggle room in the bed is because there's a horse in here with us? These are the kind of things that were rushing through my mind, and I thought, hang about. I'm in trouble here because I came in here and I know what's going on, and I thought, well, hang about. I can't live on. I can't live on. So I've got to make it clear that I know absolutely nothing about anything. Actually, for me, that's not a big ask. That's kind of like my default facial expression. But I knew how to think quick. And the pressure was on, because you can ask me what I was there for. So I was trying to think, oh Christ, I better think of something. And in the meantime, all of the Oxbridge saints are all looking down. They're all looking down, thinking, how's he going to get out of this thing? But I thought, I think quick sometimes, I have to. He finished his email, he turned over to me and he said, right, Paul, you've got my undivided attention. What's on your mind? And I said, Mrs. Stevenson, she sent me here, sir. I fell asleep in assembly again. And then I started snoring when the guest speaker started addressing the secondary school. And then I dribbled all over the shirt of one of the kids. So I'm sorry for that. And Mr. Griffin looked at me. He said, is that all? I said, yeah, you're right. What the hell's up with Stevenson, for Christ's sake? She's getting so petty these days. So he said, look, you've been coming here a long time. You've got to understand, Hogan, as far as I'm concerned, you are and you've always been a complete disgrace to the profession. But you're ashamed of yourself. I said, of course I am, Your Honor. And he sent me on my way, which is where I'm going to go again now. So if you see Mr. Griffin, I don't know if he's here, but if you see him and he's looking for me, please just tell him that I've gone home already. Thank you very much.